What is up, everyone? Today we are back with a new what if. First what if of the Aristotle clan, this being what if Naruto had Decay. Now I actually wanted to do this what if on my main channel, but I never got around to it, and I thought this would be a pretty good what if to do on this channel. So yeah, pretty much this is gonna be interesting, and how it's not actually just gonna be Decay alone. It's gonna be pretty much, I guess, you can say reincarnation from Shigaraki. As Shigaraki merged with All For One, he pretty much has all the quirks All For One has, including All For One. So yeah, without further ado, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Yeah, ayy, stoner thoughts buzzing up my brain, wondering if I'll make it or am I going insane. And then everybody, they tell me I should stay in my lane, but my best is yet to come, so I swear to God I'ma stay. Yeah, baby, hit me up with.
So we start this what if on the day of the Nine Tails attack. Now, how I'm gonna do things is the Nine Tails attack would go quite similarly, but when the Nine Tails is sealed inside Naruto, and Minato and Kushina would die, similarly to canon with Obito. I guess kind of losing to Minato, but then in the end Minato dies. So pretty much what would happen is once the Nine Tails is sealed inside, God, why am I losing my language? Sealed inside Naruto, pretty much Kurama would be behind the gates, as he'd be irritated, he was just sealed in awe, and this is something he did not want to happen. So suddenly he would feel an ominous presence in front of him, as he would see a man with white hair, and his face is like it looked like somebody like decayed his whole face, or like I guess just like it just looked like his face had so many like cuts and bruises and just mutilations at that point, as this would be none other than Shigaraki. I don't even know why it's in mutilation, because his face is still intact. But he would walk up to Kurama as he would raise his hands, and a sort of ominous presence would go over Kurama, and that's pretty much all he would feel, as he would be decayed from existence, as All For One, Shigaraki, would kind of, how do I say, take out Kurama for now, as it would take a few hundred years for Kurama to like reform, so like it would be a while before he would actually come back, which would actually be a kind of a hard thing that the Akatsuki have to face now. The only way they're actually going to get any Nine Tails chakra is if they were going to have Kinkaku and Ginkaku, or if they were to resurrect Minato, in which that would be pretty hard, since he was sealed himself in the Reaper, using the Reaper Death Seal, so only Orochimaru could undo something like that. So Naruto would mainly be affected by Shigaraki's features changing, as he would gain white hair, as this would lead to, I guess, ostracization, I believe that's the word, but him being ostracized by the village. And obviously, like I do in all my what ifs, if you don't watch me, I pretty much age Naruto up by a few years, let's say 6 years now, because when I like mature characters, it's just what I do. I like characters who are older, and I don't want a 13-year-old Naruto. I want like an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, or even a 20-year-old. Just someone who's at least like a young adult. So when Naruto's about 12 years old, he's kind of not feeling the how do I say, the village. Like he just like doesn't really want to be there as much. So what he would do is pretty much he would leave the village, and not just for any like stupid reason. He's simply just, he's not growing as much as he wants to, or Shigaraki sees this. Obviously Naruto is technically Shigaraki in this case, but that was just like his think of it as his alter ego, in a sense. Not that Shigaraki could take over, that's just his. Naruto has a persona, okay? We see that with Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. He carries a persona. Naruto is that persona. Now what's behind that persona is Shigaraki, something that's sort of like the dark side. Sounded weird saying that, but that's the reality. So he realized that there was two villages which mainly focuses on killing and violence. This being the Mist Village and then the Sand Village. Naruto, being about 13, 12 at that time, realized he should go to the Mist Village, and that would be a pretty good opportunity for him. So he would pack his things up and wear that ragged, a ragged cloak, as he would walk out the village without anyone even noticing. Kurizen has been a little too busy with his Hokage work, and he has completely forgotten that he was the caretaker of Naruto Uzumaki. So Naruto would leave the village without even anyone noticing, as he would head over to none other than the bloody Mist Village. As once he would get there, it would just be that it was kind of a chaos. As he'd walk through the village, he'd be introduced or seen by none other than the fourth Yagura. As this was a little bit before Yagura was put into a genjutsu by Obito, as Yagura would see Naruto's just potential. As someone as strong as Yagura should be able to see other people's potency, as he would take him in, and I guess not take him in like directly, but kind of like give him what he needs in a sense. As Naruto would enroll at his local academy, as we'll go to that day, Naruto would be wearing what he always wear. He just really liked it. Honestly, also, it's just drippy. I don't know why, but rags, they just look good. Or I mean, like, if you're a good, how do I say, if the character is like really good, like if they could wear anything at all and they would still look, that kind of said it's sus. But like, for example, like Aizen, he could go from his captain cloaks to his spot outfit to his Muken outfit, like prisoner outfit, and he would still look good in it. It's similar to like Naruto here. So Naruto would head over to the academy, as once he would get there, he would see Suigetsu and Mangetsu. Now, if you don't know, Mangetsu is the wielder of the seven swords of the mist. As I almost said seven deadly sins, and I was like, what am I saying, or what am I thinking? So pretty much Suigetsu is the one who's going to the academy, while Mangetsu is just simply just like taking him there. As Naruto would see them, as you know, he was interested in them since he read up on the clans in the village, and he read about the Hozuki clan, which they're from, and they have pretty good clan techniques, and they're one of the strongest clans in the village. Obviously, kind of excluding Mei, who is from Terumi clan. I don't even know if that's a clan, but she has 3 Keke Genkais, being lava, acid, and something else. I forgot. If someone cares to remind me, I guess do. I don't know, whatever. But pretty much he would walk in. As obviously, if you don't know, you are taught to kill your classmates. So over the 4 years, Naruto and Suigetsu would become friends. As obviously being friends with Suigetsu, he would start to train with his brother Mangetsu, as he would become an apprentice of Mangetsu. Obviously, it would be more of Suigetsu inheriting the swords of all the mist, and Naruto is just learning what he can. As Naruto would start to hone his ability, and I guess Mangetsu would give him ideas on how to release this ability, and his like Decay ability. So he would learn how to release it in waves, being how Shigaraki used it in the canonical timeline. And Naruto would start to become stronger and stronger over the years, until about 4 years later, when Naruto is 16 and Suigetsu would be around the same age. It was a class graduation, and everyone was told to kill each other. So obviously Naruto can't really kill Suigetsu, so they had to work together and kill all the rest of their classmates, decaying them, or Suigetsu decapitating them with a katana he had been using, waiting, to inherit the executioner's blade. So once they had finished the graduation, they had been told that by the Mizukage, who actually had been overthrown by Mei. Obviously, over the years, the revolution happened, and Naruto and Suigetsu were just kids, so there was nothing much they could actually do, and there was nothing much for me to go over. So, like I said, about a year later, after Naruto had joined the academy, Yagura had been put under the Genjutsu, and another incident had happened where my guy, or not an incident, but sort of, I just had a brain fart. So pretty much, not an incident had occurred, but sort of, how do I say, Mangetsu had went missing. Obviously, it just means dead, of course. And this was a huge hit towards the 7 swordsmen of the mist, since 4 of them had already been defeated by most of them had already been defeated by Might to Die. As now that Mangetsu was gone, all the swords were waiting to be inherited. So Zabuza would take the Executioner's Blade and he would go rogue, and the others would just do what their thing. Kisame would kill the previous owner of Sabehade, and the others would just like drop dead. Okay, I don't know what else to say. So pretty much what would occur next is Suigetsu and Naruto would be told this after becoming newly fledged ninjas, and they would be completely different from the normal ninjas that we see in the Leaf Village. They wouldn't go and form a team or anything. They were like Ambu Black Ops at that point. They were assassins, fixers, whatever you want to classify them as. They would go around doing kill missions, capture missions, just any S rank, A rank, high rank mission they could get their hands on. And they had been given the mission to take down Zabuza Momochi. Even though he had went rogue, it was kind of out of nowhere, and it wasn't sure that he was actually going against the interest of the revolution at the time or the Yagura regime. And obviously he had now started working for Gato, who was now a pain. He had started colonizing the nearby village. They landed waves, and some of their trading or routes had been stopped by his mob men. So Naruto and Suigetsu were tasked to go down there and deal with Gato and Zabuza. And obviously, with some, they would go down there for a few days, do a bit of recon, as they'd realize Zabuza had taken in a student, being Haku. And that may be the reason why he went rogue. As they were watching from afar, as if you're wondering, does Team 7 come and escort Tazuna? I feel like this event would take just a little bit before Team 7 would come and pretty much do the mission. And because obviously my brain, I just don't want to think of a new member. I would just probably have Kiba in Team 7, since pretty much Team 7 is an offensive group, right? Kiba's more offensive, right? With his clan techniques being more attack based, not defense based, and Team 7 is all about that. They're mostly attack based, more aggressive based attacks, like Kakashi with his Chidori, which Sasuke will inherit, Sakura being the healer with her infused punches, and then Kiba using his clan techniques, Fang over Fang. I kind of forgot what it was at the time. So now Naruto and Suigetsu would be watching from afar as Zabuza and Haku were marching. They were being watching to see if any Tazuna would come back into the village, in which this was not really yet set to happen. So Naruto and Suigetsu would purposely go out in the open, waiting for Zabuza and Haku to jump out, and that's exactly what would happen. A roll of mist would come up, as they would obviously notice this technique. They would be accustomed to techniques like this. They're from the mist. Why would they not know how to counter a hidden mist jutsu? So what would occur is, Zabuza would jump down, as he would then say, well, look what we have here. Naruto, Uzumaki, and Suigetsu, Hazuki. It's kind of weird to say his last name. But, he would start to unsheath the Executioner's Blade, as he would talk to Suigetsu, telling him that he's probably here to take the sword, as Suigetsu would tell him that he's here to take it off his dead cold hands. As Haku would jump down too, with her senbone in hand, as she was ready to fight too, and the fight would commence. Zabuza would clash with Suigetsu, as Naruto would start fighting with Haku. Haku throwing her senbone, while Naruto would just decay them. As Naruto would sort of use a Kirigiri's quirk, and let's just say, or not a Kirigiri's quirk to be more specific, I should elaborate. A sort of high-speed transportation technique, or not technique, quirk that All For One stole before merging with Shigaraki, as he would appear behind Haku, as he would go to, decay her. But obviously, she would make, he would make a wall of ice, as, like I said, suddenly a wall of ice would appear between the Decay Blast and Haku, defending Haku, as then it would start to decay the ice, but as it would just go into, like, how do I say, distorted water, I guess you can say, as Naruto would then kind of coat his hands in flames before he would then throw like flames at her. Why do I keep saying, bro? Haku is really getting me here. He would throw flames at him, as Haku's natural instinct is to just use another ice wall, but Naruto at the last second would infuse more fire into it, something that even Haku couldn't even comprehend, as it would melt through the ice, sending Haku back into a tree. As Naruto would then start to form a radio wave in his hand, as he would send it towards Haku, going at the speed of light. As radio waves travel at the speed of light, right exactly on the speed of light. As Haku would then use his reaction to pretty much activate the ice mirror jutsu, so he can start to amp up his speed, going around that speed of light. And as Haku was stated in the data book, to go the speed of light. So yeah, there you go. Unless you want to debunk me, then feel free to. I don't really care. As Naruto would then be seen in the middle of this, as multiple Haku would have been seen in the ice, as Haku would throw multiple sunbones, as Naruto would just release a wave of decay, as they would start to crack the ice mirrors, as Haku would start to get worried. Now we switch perspectives to Suigetsu. He would then make his hand into sort of a gun symbol, as he would shoot, Zabuza in the foot, kind of stopping him from moving, as he would fall onto his knee. Suigetsu would then appear in front of him, as he would take the blade, infusing his arm with his water-based technique to, as it would start to buff up, as he would use the Executioner's blade to kill its former master, Zabuza Momochi. As he is now dead, Haku would then realize this, as, he would get a small boost in emotional amp, I guess you can say, as she would go a little bit faster, but Naruto already had the upper hand, as he would appear in front of her before then decaying his face. But I get so many comments. I'm just sensing it. But after this, Suigetsu and Naruto would feel a presence coming onto the bridge, as they would turn around and see dozens of Gatsu's men and Gatsu himself coming on with katanas, bats, brass knuckles, anything you can think of, as they were ready to kill Naruto and Suigetsu. As Naruto and Suigetsu would crack their knuckles and kind of smile sadistically, I guess you can say, or just like in a crazy attitude, because they love fighting. So like, this is pretty exciting, like having to like fight against like dozens of mob members, I guess you can say, as they would run through the members, just completely defeating almost every one of them, as they would make it towards Gatsu. As Gatsu would plead and beg for his life, as that's what everyone does, as you would then, pretty much end Gatsu's life, as that was their mission. They would then take all the riches of Gatsu, as they would take it back to the mist, giving some to the village to keep their morale high and to keep them with the Mist Village. Not because they actually care, it's because it's in their self-interest. Naruto isn't that classic protagonist where he actually cares about saving people. This is just in his mission. They would go back to the Mist Village, in which Mei would give them a, how do I say, not really a promotion, but I guess a, congratulations on a first mission done well, as she would hope that this would start a history of long, successful missions, I guess you can say, as this would mark the end of this part and hopefully the start of a great series. Hopefully I can implicate more things that'll actually improve the quality of the series. But I'm a bit rusty, so hopefully this will, bring me back to like my prime, I guess you can say. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have a good day. But